What's up, guys? Sub-Zero here, and we might have another Rank 1 North America after today. Robin Songs is streaming right now, and he is on the run of his life, down from about 1400 LP to 1632, and he's in a game right now looking like he's going to top 4. Look at this match history, by the way, 3.1 AVP over the last 20, only 3 bot 4s, 1/8. He's just playing incredibly consistent, incredibly good TFT. I think he knows all the lines. And he is playing them really, really well. So I wanted to do a VOD review of a Robin Songs game because he might, depending on how the game he's in right now, because he's live right now as I'm recording this, be rank 1 after this game. If he keeps up this performance, he'll easily be rank 1. If I pop my camera off, you can see his day's already started well, third into a first. And yeah, I mean, what a run so far. So wanted to watch some Robin Songs today. I feel like he's just kind of playing everything. You know, I watched him. He played a game of TF, he played a game of Riven, he's in another TF game right now. This is a game that's neither of those comps. He played a game of emo reroll, actually, not even like the executioner version, but for emo. I actually really like, I really like the Yasuo pickup here, but something really important that Robin does, which I think is so smart, is you have to wait for your items when you pick up a unit like this, and he gets chained, which is a fantastic Yasuo item. Can be Edge of Night, can be Titans. And so, you know, we feel happy picking up the Yasuo at that point. We pick up Bow. Now we already see Titans in this spot. I think this is a really, really nice opener for any kind of Yone game, Riven game, that kind of stuff. And here it is, boom, the Gargantuan Resolve at 2-1. And he says, I already got a Titan slammed. I'm going to slam double Titans onto this Yasuo. So we have a really, really strong start already and really, really good direction. We have to basically play Yone, Riven from this spot. You can theoretically put the items on like Kali or something, but it's not the best. We would also definitely prefer to play we would prefer to play Yone if possible, because Riven has slightly more sort of like requirements for her items. She really wants QSS, whereas Yone doesn't really care about QSS because the damage is more bursty. You know, if he gets CC'd, it's not the end of the world. Because he can just cast once, heal back to full HP, and then he's chilling. Riven doesn't really have that luxury where she kind of needs the uptime. She needs to be autoing to get the Titan stacked, and so that she just stays alive. So it's a really good idea when you have this setup to be playing around Yone. I'm surprised he doesn't even type into chat Yone. But Robin maybe is too proud to do something like that. I'm not sure, or maybe he just thinks that I'm in a top 10 challenger lobby, Wei Iverson, Pickle Onion, replay, fill up, Kurum, X, like, these people surely are gonna scout me, Invective, like surely I don't need to call versus these players, I'm not sure. If it was last patch, you still wouldn't even play Jax, because these items are not even that good for Jax, so no need to actually look at these Jax units. They are just funny little guys that are right there. I wonder if you ever play this Kale. I probably wouldn't. But theoretically, she's an edgelord. She can fill the exact same spot that Yasuo was filling. He's certainly thinking about it. I wonder if he's gonna go through it. It looks like he is. Yeah, he's gonna item hold this Kale here, get 2 Sentinel in here, and slam the double Titans there. I mean, with the buffs to Kale, she's definitely looking like a better, more quality item holder in this spot. And yeah, it looks like he thinks I can item hold Kale up and push levels with this, and he wins the fight. She does pretty good work. My only fear is that it's going to be kind of awkward for Kale to actually stack this Titans, whereas I feel like Yasuo would have actually stacked it a lot better, but it'll be interesting to see how this gets handled as the game goes on. Well, we want to build something out of a rod here, or we can just look for our healing item. He's going to look at Morelos here, which is something that I think is pretty solid in this comp. I assume it's just going to be a Morelos slam here. Not only is it a fantastic slam onto Kale here, but it's nice to have some kind of healing reduc on this board. You can get to red buff, but it's hard to make red buff when you're making all these Titans. So I would expect that he would just slam Morelos in this spot. He could also hold on to the Morello components, I guess, and look for Evan's Shroud, but I don't know. I would assume you're just making Morelos here. Yeah. Morello's great item, and belt's a great pickup, right? Because like I was saying, you really want to be able to build for Evan Shroud later. You need a belt for that, and so picking one off the carousel makes it much more likely that you're going to natural that belt because of the way that item pools work. If you take an item off carousel, you're more likely to have multiple components, multiple versions of that component, if that makes any sense. If not, I don't know. I've made a video about it way far in the past. If people have questions, I don't know, you can ask in the comments, and either I'll help you or other people help you, because it's like kind of wonky, but if the items you take off carousel, you're gonna get more of because you got it off carousel, and carousel means that. Okay, never mind. I'm not gonna keep talking about it because I think it might be explained for some people already, and I might end up confusing them more by just re-explaining it 10 times. In any case, beautiful early stage 2. 5 streak here with this Kale. This Kale has done absolutely insane work. Even though she hasn't been able to like fully stack the Titans in these fights, she's done good work. And also note that we didn't have a single upgrade this stage 2, right? It's not like we had this really nice upgraded stage 2. It's honestly just a stage 2 where we walked into a lot of weaker boards, and it was just, you know, easy mode. We just smurfed on them because we had a double Titan slammed with Gargantuan Resolve, and yeah, having item slammed is good. These components look really nice as well. This is half of Evan Shroud and half of Hodge here, you would have to think, for the Yone. So we'll see if that's what we end up doing. Also note that he at that point he just prioritized making gold, which I think I mean you have to do when you play a comp like this, right? Make 50 gold. The only units that you really need are like the Mordekaiser and the Kale. Be really careful about Mordekaiser. I've played so many games recently, like over the last 24 hours, where I play this comp and I have Yone 3 but no Mordekaiser 2, and I just end up dying because I have no front line. So definitely look for those Mordekaisers and hold them if possible. But yeah, we pick up Heartsteel here. We're going to get that in on a relatively strong board. You know, you can just use it for a kind of mediocre cash out if we're win streaking a spot like this. If he gets something much better to play, he can probably go for it. Wow. Whoa. This is really... both Harvesters and Jewel Lotus are insane here. I think he's going to check the stats. I wonder which one. Because you have Hodge component here, so you could maybe say that, you know, like Jewel Lotus is going to be really influential because you're going into Hodge anyway, and you're not going to have room for the IE and Harmesis. But Harmesis is also insanely good. I'm really curious to see what yeah, he's stats checking it here to see what the stats say in a spot like this, because yeah, and he's going to go for the Lotus. Okay, I mean, I like Lotus a lot in a spot like this, but both are fantastic, and I think, you know, I would say potentially if we didn't have Gargantuan Resolve that you would just go Harm Assist, because you can just build the JG anyway. But because we don't actually have the ability to build, or not JG, but IE, but because we can't actually build the IE, the Jewel Lotus, it essentially is like a fourth item, maybe even like a fifth item for this Yone, because, you know, the Titans is going to be extra items. You know, 2 Titans is kind of like 3 items with Gargantuan Resolve, then you have another item that's 4, and then this IE is a 5th item. That's really what this comp is all about, by the way, if you've played around it before, or if you've seen what augments look really good in this comp. It's just putting as many items on your Yone as possible. You really want to get up to, you know, that super fantasy of like a 6-item Yone, basically. 3 items that are real items, and then like 3 items from augments through things like Harm Assist, Jeweled Lotus, stuff like that. So, and we're rapidly approaching that Yone fantasy in this spot. So pretty cool. Finally gonna fight someone with a pretty strong board, and yeah, I think it's gonna be curtains for our board now. You can sort of see now that like this board that we have isn't actually the strongest. We've just made the best out of like an okay situation, slammed good items, and saved a lot of HP. Another thing that I want to talk about just generally about Robin songs, as we go into Carousel here, which it's probably either Hodge or Evan Shroud, whichever one you can get. 2 belts, 3 gloves. We should be pretty... wait, was that 4 gloves? I think it's 4 gloves, so we should be able to pick up the Hodge if we want to. And yeah, and there's also an Evan Shroud component open, so not bad at all. But yeah, one thing I want to talk about with regard to Robin, actually, is that I feel like one of the things that this guy is so good at is picking a line that makes a lot of sort of like logical sense based on his spot, and then executing on that really well. Robin is a player who I feel like coming out of stage 2, he really has usually, oh, and he called Yone at the start of the game. I just didn't see him call it. Okay, yeah, because I feel like it's very realistic to call Yone. I didn't even see that chat message because it's in the top right. Why do you put that there, Robin? But what Robin is really good at is sort of like, okay, stage 2, I have double Titans Resolve, I have this Morello, I know what my line is going to be, and I'm just going to play it to the best of my ability. Rod's a horrible component here, but, you know, it's probably the worst single component that you could get. Maybe Tear is worse, but almost anything would be better. Not the end of the world, though. I mean, a free Rod is a free Rod. But yeah, like Robin, I feel like always is like a very linear player. You know, he'll figure out a line and play around that. He's not a player who's like known for like cooking and saying like, oh, maybe I'm gonna take this spot and pivot it into, I see a Poppy here. Okay, I'm gonna play Poppy with Gargantuan Resolve. You know, like Robin knows at this spot, like I'm playing around Yone. I'm gonna maximize my econ, maximize my HP, and play around Yone this game. And wow, that is a really pretty quick Yone, I would say. I mean, the thing, though, is that Robin has put himself into a position here where he's always going to hit this Yone, right? He has so much gold. He's level 7, 50 gold in this spot. So it's hashtag not even a high roll in a spot like this to hit this Yone because we have all the gold. We were always going to hit this Yone. The question was how long it's going to take, and it was a pretty quick hit. Picks up Echo 2 here, continuing to roll a little bit into the 50s. Slams the Evans Shroud on whatchamacallit, actually, on the Viego, because I think he just isn't that confident of putting it on something like the Echo. He thinks the Viego and the Yone are going to stay next to each other. So yeah, I guess he's also like foreseeing himself hitting this Viego too pretty soon. And I think there's another player in the lobby who's like playing around this kind of stuff, and he's telling them to go Riven, which is pretty funny. But yeah, I mean, Robin's econ, he's played it so like look how much gold does he have. I mean, you probably just go with a Silver Veil here, right? Like I was talking about before, it's not like the end all be all in this Yone unit, but it's completely fine. Of course, it's not bad by any means. But yeah, one thing that Robin's gonna do here, which I think is really important when you play this comp is, I mean, not only did he build a solid sort of like default board, right? He got in the 4 Crowd Diver, got the Yone in, got Edgelord in, of course, and then he got Pentakill in because it fits in so easily with Viego plus Mordekaiser plus Kale. But he's going to be really controlled with his rolling here. One thing that you absolutely cannot do when you play this comp is just roll it to 0 in spots like these. And that's why saving HP matters so much, because we can't... Oh, he got a Reforger, by the way. He just Reforges that Raj, which I think is nice. He can just build the BT. Yeah, it's great. But yeah, he's just going to slow roll all of his gold here on level 7. But like, if you just send it to 0 here because you're 1 HP, because you played the early game really poorly and hard forced this comp, then you end up in this really weird spot where... Oh, and also, what a nice dip there down to 40 gold. He dips to 40 because he knows he has a lot of really important pairs, hits the Viego too, and now his board is really solid. Still, yeah, I mean, this absolutely swung this fight, and he just dipped into 40, right? He didn't dip down to like 30 gold or anything like that. He wanted to find some Yones, didn't really pick any up, but he picked up a lot of the other more relevant upgrades. At this point, I think you're just going for tank items, right? You're just going for items for like this Echo slash... I mean, you could also just pick up the Kiana if possible, but I kind of seriously doubt... Maybe we're just gonna get a Kiana. I'm down. Oh, no Kiana. He's just gonna pick up the Yone of Carousel with tier here. Decent item and much more relevant. We pick up the Yone. But yeah, you notice he has not... He's not dropped below 40 gold this entire stage because he has so much HP. His board is already... So what the fuck is this? I do not know what that was. That was like his list of people that he's gonna ban or something like that. But yeah, like he knows that he needs this gold to hit Yone, right? And we've honestly low rolled pretty hard on Yones, right? 5 Yones, considering how much gold we've rolled, is actually like kind of bad. But we have so much HP, right? Like imagine if Robin hadn't played this early game out as well as he did, slamming items and like really just sort of like committing to this line and picking like a solid augment for this. I mean, multiple solid augments for this line. He might be forced to roll in a spot like this, miss, and then your game is just capped out. The really big thing about not over-rolling when you play this comp is capping yourself out low. Because if you roll to 0 here, if you're forced to roll to 0 because you play this little... And ooh, this is actually really bad positioning for Robin, I would say. It might be okay, but the Zed, I think we're still going to win just because our board's so strong, but that is not what you want. The Zed aggroing onto the Yone is really rough because Zed can just like two-shot the Yone basically, as basically happened there. But the nice thing is we have the Viego as a backup. We have all these upgraded units, so you got to be careful versus Zed boards like that because Zed can just one-shot this Yone. But yeah, the problem with rolling deep in spots like this is that you cap yourself out artificially, like very low. I'll talk about that in a sec, but we're gonna roll down here, make Hodge, very solid item, pick up another Yone. Because he's one off, he sees that he can dip down a little bit here, but once again, really controlled. He's not gonna dip below 30 even. With 7 Yones, with 8 Yones, he says, I'm not gonna dip below 30 gold here, because if I dip to 0 gold here, how am I going 8, and how am I capping my board out? That's what's so important about this board, is being able to cap out by pushing levels later, getting the 5 costs in, and that kind of stuff. So curious to see how far he dips here, because he is, of course, one off, and surely we'll hit it soon. But yeah, I think, we're going to dip down to probably 10 here, looking for this Yone. Still don't pick it up, by the way. I mean, how much... If someone... I think, people always ask for me to VOD review, like, low-roll games. Games where, like, people, play reroll and they miss. I mean, is this not a great example of a game where we've low-rolled Yone so hard? How much gold have we rolled without hitting a single Yone 3? An insane amount. But Robin had so much gold and so much HP that it almost doesn't look like a low roll, right? And the fact that he didn't roll it to 0 the previous rounds, that he's still making 10, even in a spot like this, where he had to roll so much and miss, he's still making 10 in spots like this because he knows if he rolls it just straight to 0, his econ is doomed. So I really like the control that Robin has had with his rolls this game, not dipping too low in gold. And I mean, surely we'll find the Yone eventually, right? I think it's just unfortunate rolls because there's that. I mean, there's that Ezreal. There's Wei Shen Iverson, who's like the Ezreal plus Zed player, who I think is probably holding on to some Yones. And then I don't know if the person who ended up, I assume, playing Riven is holding them. But I mean, just look at the HP, right? Yone 2. Yone 2, and we're still 50 HP. We're first place in HP. We might even top 4 with just the Yone 2. It's kind of insane. We just win Zed item here. If possible, the Guard Breaker, the GS seems fine. You can even go double Hodge. I'd probably end up going Guard Breaker. Yeah, just because I like having items that do different things, and the crit chances can be really nice. But yeah, dip to 10 here again. Digging for the Yone. Still no Yone. Can roll one more time. Still no Yone. He's actually going to dip down to 0 finally, because he says, you know what, it's getting kind of late in the game. I kind of need to hit this Yone. And he gets rewarded in the dip to 0 here. But yeah, 5-5, and we finally hit our Yone 3. This actually can be a really good matchup, but also it's usually a really bad matchup. The idea, at least, is that Samira can stack Titans for you really well because she's just going to go pew, 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 and stack it up. The problem is that Vex is a nightmare in that matchup because she's going to CC the Yone a ton. At least we have a little bit of CC reduction. Also, the fact that there's Samira 3 means she's not going to stack that Titans for free. But yeah, like Wei Jin playing this very sort of standard Heartsteel sort of capped board. We're going to move our units over, try to, you know, just get the swap on somebody, get a good Yone angle. We have this Yone on top of a Sunfire, but this should always be a pretty good fight for us, just because this board has so little single target damage. Pickle Onion is basically always losing that fight because how are you killing Yone on a Karthus Akali Viego board? There's just no single target on the entire board. That's why this board of Wei Jin's, like, it's so important to have the Zed, though he ended up actually selling the Zed, moving the items over to the Yorick, it looks like, and he just has a Zed with no items. But Yorick is also, I mean, he might just punch the Yone in the face, we'll see. Last Zed I'm here is BT. Like I was talking about, we need to push levels. We need to go 8. We need to go 9. We're just going to push 8 here even just to get the double Zed in for the double Crowd Diver because it's so late into the game. It's stage 6. Every point of HP matters. He doesn't want to greed his econ here. He wants to greed his board strength here. This looks pretty good because the Riven's aggroed on to the Mordekaiser. It's going to buy a lot of time for Yone to stack up. We're also fighting Clone, so yeah, that's going to be an easy fight dub for us. And yeah, it looks like Robin's just going to get capped out on 8 this game because of, you know, how long it took to hit. And we're just, at this point, going to roll, try to find Zed2, try to find something to put in here, maybe another Crowd Diver, a Kiana, perhaps. Versus Kurum here. Wait, which board's Kurum? Kurum is the Riven board. We want to do something very similar to what we did last round. So he's just going to do some quick swaps, fancy footwork. Similar thing is going to happen. The only downside is we don't have that many tank items on the Mordekaiser, but yeah, perfect positioning once again, where Riven aggroes onto the Mordekaiser, and then Yone aggroes onto the Riven. This is like melee positioning 101. You allow their melee carry to aggro onto your tank, and then you make your melee carry aggro onto their melee carry, so that your melee carry can just kill layers, whereas they're just stuck hitting your tank for a few autos, especially with someone like Yone who needs to stack it up, right? He needs that time. Gonna do some quick swaps here. Even gonna frontline this Yone to try to actually dodge the Zephyr potentially, which is really smart stuff. This board, though, that Wei Jin has is very scary. He's got the Yorick, too. He's so capped. Oh, I think Yone is going to win this fight, though. Yeah, just healing back to full HP. Wei Jin level 10, by the way, but down to full combat augment. So if we can get another good positioning like that, we can just win the game. Wei Jin 9 HP here. We pick up Kiana here, just a fantastic addition to the board. It's a little bit hard, actually, on this current level to fit something like 6 Crowd Diver, but he is just going to play it over the Echo here. And that's 6 Crowd Diver on the board, which is going to be a huge spike in damage. Just needs to make sure he has enough frontline here to deal with everything. But the Viego's pseudo frontline, the whatchamacallit is frontline as well, the Mordekaiser. We get Zephyr. Wow, Wei Jin nails the Zephyr. Robin, pretty predictable with his positioning there, I would say. I wonder if this is going to swing the fight. Ooh, so close. If Yone gets that cast off, I'm pretty sure Robin wins the game. That is absolutely a Zephyr diff because Yone would have healed to full, continue to stack that Titans. We got maybe one more fight if we can win this. If we lose, we might be going to stage 7 unless we get a huge loss here. I wonder if you ever just like middle the Yone or something like this. Yeah, I love this a lot, right? It's going to make it really easy to dodge this. Beautiful, by the way. The Zephyr cannot be cheesed because we put it on top of where the Yorick is. Going to get a bunch of casts here. This is looking pretty solid, I think, but it's only going to be a 1-unit win, right? Oh, Wei Jin lives with 2 HP. If we had one more unit alive, we would have actually killed Wei Jin there. And it would have been a first, and oh, Robin would be, oh my god. Okay, we got one more fight, stage 7. Gotta dodge the Zephyr 1. What a sick game, by the way. Wei Jin Iverson versus Robin Songs. You know, two two titans of TFT. We're gonna roll it down here, try to high roll potentially like a 2-star Kiana, but it's not very likely to hit. Probably just TG Kiana seems fantastic here. I can't imagine you'd do anything else. And yeah, now it's just the positioning swaps. Will we swap back to the corner? Will we swap where the other guy is? He's gonna put it down one, put a unit next to it, which makes it harder to hit. But Wei Jin nails the Zephyr. He cheesed it. And I wonder if that's it. Looks like that's enough to win the fight. It's going to be a top 2 for Robin. What a sick game, though. Just from start to finish, the end was awesome. Robin's rolling so much, not hitting Yone, and end up still winning was really sick. Yeah, this was such a sick game. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please like, comment, subscribe, check my Twitch, and all my other links down below. Thanks for watching.